It's Friday. Must be time for Feel Good Friday, where we share little stories about everyday occurrences, hopefully adding a little value or thought into your life. Today's theme is about accepting responsibility. A week ago yesterday, I became eligible to book a COVID booster shot. I went online and I was very pleasantly surprised that the pharmacy that came up on Monday morning, the first day eligible, was the closest pharmacy to me. In fact, it was my pharmacy. It said Nottingham Pharmacy, and I was very happy about that. The only thing that seemed odd is I booked a time for 9:15 and my confirmation letter said 9:35. So I decided that I would go at 9:15. If it was indeed 9:35, I had a grocery store, I could buy things, whatever, I could make it work. I was quite surprised when I went to my pharmacist and said, I have an appointment. And she says, we don't even accept appointments until 10 o'clock. Maybe you mean the new Nottingham Pharmacy. Oh, I wasn't aware of it. But there is a building at the other end of the parking lot. It has a dentist shop, this small pharmacy, and a takeout pizza place. I never even thought about it. Turns out one address is 668 Y Road, the other is 688 Y Road. Very close. I didn't read it very closely. I should have. No problem. The only thing is, because it's a brand new pharmacy, I have to fill out all my information, which I do. It takes 5 minutes, and then they ask to see my healthcare card. No problem. I produced my healthcare card, and they immediately took me into this cubicle and sat me down, and within 5 or 6 minutes, I had my shot and I headed out. And of course, I never asked for my healthcare card back. So an hour later, I get this phone call and I have to come back and pick it up. The thing that I want to share with you is later that afternoon, I was sharing this story with my wife, and I said, well, who wouldn't assume that it's Sobeys Pharmacy on Nottingham? Like, that's by far the biggest. That's a natural assumption. And she politely went along with it. But I think secretly she's saying in the back of her, Colin, why don't you pay attention to detail? I don't want to argue that point. And also, I said, well, why did they immediately sit me aside and not give me my health care card right away? Notice the pattern here? I have this proclivity to try and blame someone else for my problems, for my mistakes. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have that proclivity? When something goes wrong, you blame somebody else? And I thought about that, and I thought about that. I know this story isn't mind-changing in any way, but what happens if I, instead of trying to blame the address or making the assumption, acknowledge I have a terrible tendency to jump to conclusions and to skim things? Maybe a good New Year's resolution would be to try and make that better. Also, when I gave the healthcare card, why don't I take responsibility and ask for them to give it back to me? Because the one thing I really want to share with you is that when you take responsibility for things that go wrong in your life, you empower yourself to make them better. Have a great week.